My pregnant wife's mom humiliated me at our baby shower. Then I found out the truth. I never thought I'd be posting here. Honestly, my hands are still shaking as I type this. I've been lurking for years, but now I need to get this off my chest before I lose my mind. I'm 33M and everything blew up 3 days ago. It started at my wife's baby shower when her mother cornered me in our living room and humiliated me in front of everyone. Some background: I met my wife, Leah, 30F, about 4 years ago through mutual friends. We hit it off, got married too. Years later, and now she's 7 months pregnant with our first child, a baby girl. I was thrilled when we found out. I was ready to be a dad, until this weekend happened. Last year, we bought a small house in an older neighborhood. It needs work, a dated kitchen, plumbing issues. The backyard is basically just dirt. But it's ours. We didn't take money from anyone. Every weekend, I've been fixing it up myself, room by room. I thought Leah was happy with it. Her mom, Adelaide, has always been difficult. Since day one, she's made these subtle jabs. "Oh, you work with computers?" Or, "This neighborhood is interesting." Always with that judgmental tone and a little pause. But I bit my tongue. Leah would brush it off, saying, "That's just how Mom is," and move on. So this past weekend was Leah's baby shower. We decided to host it at our place, even though Adelaide passive-aggressively suggested we should rent a venue. I spent the whole week getting ready, repainted the living room, fixed the wobbly porch step, even installed new lights in the dining room. I wanted it to be perfect. The day of the shower, I'm setting up folding chairs we borrowed from Leah's cousin, sweating through my shirt because the AC's acting up again. Adelaide shows up an hour early with one of her church friends. She immediately starts inspecting the house like she's on a home improvement show from hell, scrutinizing every wall, every corner. Then it happens. I'm placing the last row of chairs when Adelaide literally backs me against the wall with her church friend right there watching. Her voice is all sugary sweet but loud enough for everyone nearby to hear. "Jensen," she says, "my daughter made a huge mistake, marrying someone who can't even afford a real house. Look at this place. The roof probably leaks, the floors creak, and that bathroom, my God." I clenched my jaw and said nothing. Thank God her ex is still around for emotional support. "Did you know Ruben just bought a gorgeous new place? In Lakewood Hills? 5 bedrooms? A home theater? Now that's a place to raise my grandbaby." I glance over at Leah. She's across the room with her sister and 2 friends, and what does she do? She giggles and rubs her belly. My face is burning. My fists are clenched so hard my nails are digging into my palms. But there are 20 women in my house. It's my wife's baby shower. So I nod, say, "Excuse me, I need to grab more chairs," and walk away like the doormat everyone seems to think I am. The entire shower, Adelaide keeps making digs, telling stories about Ruben and Leah's college trip to Cabo, asking Leah if she's really sure about putting the baby's nursery in. Such a small room. I mostly stay in the kitchen, bringing out food, refilling punch. Nobody talks to me, except for Leah's sister, Lauren, who gives me this sympathetic look like she knows I'm barely hanging on. When the guests finally leave, I start cleaning, up while Leah opens gifts on the couch. I ask if she heard what her mom said to me. She sighs, rolls her eyes. "Mom's just concerned. This house is kind of a mess, and your job isn't exactly stable." That hit like a slap. I've never shared much about my finances with her family. I make good money. I'm just careful with it. Yes, I was laid off last year, but I landed a new job within a few weeks. I thought she was proud of me for how I handled it. "And what was that about you giggling when she was trashing our home? Our home, Leah, the one we picked out together." "You're being dramatic," she snaps. "I was laughing at something," Lauren said. "Not everything is about you." But I saw her face. I know what I saw. We go to bed angry. The next morning, things are tense. Her phone keeps lighting up with texts, and she keeps tilting it away from me every time I walk by. Red flag number 1. I'm in the garage looking for a paint can when her phone rings from the kitchen counter. The name on the screen? Ruben. Red flag number 2. Later that day, I hear her in the bedroom on the phone. I stop just outside the door. Her voice is low but clear. I know, Mom. Yes, he's being difficult again. No, I haven't told him yet. My wife and her mom planned to replace me with her ex. Then I found out. Everything I know, the timing wasn't ideal. She never actually told me. That night, Leah said she was going to her mom's to help sort through baby clothes her cousin had dropped off. She didn't come home until after midnight. Red flag number 3. The next morning, while she was in the shower, I did something I'm not proud of. I went through her phone. There were dozens of texts between her and her mom. About Ruben. About me. About how I wasn't providing enough and how the baby deserves better. And then I saw this. A message from Adelaide. Ruben said the offer still stands. You wouldn't have to worry about money ever again. Think about the baby. Leah's response. I know, Mom. I'm thinking about it. I confronted her. It was the biggest fight we've ever had. Screaming, crying, accusations. She stormed out, said she was going to her parents' house until I calmed down and stopped being paranoid. That was 3 days ago. This morning, I woke up to my phone blowing up. 30+ missed calls. 18 from Lee, 12 from Adelaide, voicemails, texts. I haven't listened to any of them yet. Because last night, Lauren, Leah's sister, showed up at my door, crying. What she told me about what Adelaide and Leah have been planning behind my back for months. I don't even know who my wife is anymore. So now I'm asking Reddit. Am I overreacting? Should I listen to those voicemails? Or should I go through with what I'm planning, now that I know the truth? Update. First of all, holy hell. I never expected my post to blow up like this. Thank you for the awards, DMs, support. Sorry I haven't responded to comments. These past few days have been insane. So, those 30 missed calls? Yeah, I finally listened to the voicemails. The first few were from Leah, tearful, saying I was misunderstanding everything, begging me to talk. Same script, different day. Then Adelaide's messages started, each one more frantic than the last. The final voicemail? You need to answer your damn phone now before you ruin everything. Ruin everything? Me? I didn't call them back. I just texted Leah. I know what you and your mom have been planning. I need time to process. Don't come home. What did Lauren tell me that night? Buckle up, because it's so much worse than I thought. Adelaide has been orchestrating this whole thing from the beginning. For 4 months, she's been meeting up with Ruben weekly, working on a plan to get Leah to leave me. She's been telling their extended family that I'm basically a deadbeat who can't support Leah or the baby. At church, she's been saying she's concerned about the baby's paternity. Yes, that bad. But here's the kicker. Ruben isn't just the ex. He's Adelaide's godson. Their families have been close for over 30 years. They've always wanted Ruben and Leah to end up together. When Leah married me instead, Adelaide never accepted it. Lauren showed me screenshots of a group chat between Adelaide, Ruben, and Leah. They've been house hunting together, looking for a home. For Leah and the baby. Without me. Adelaide has been transferring money into Leah's personal bank account. Thousands of dollars. Money that, now I know, came from Ruben. My stomach turned when I saw texts discussing how they would handle Jensen once the baby arrived. Adelaide even suggested Leah file for emergency custody the day she gives birth, claiming I'm unstable. They were going to cut me out of my own child's life. And Leah, my wife, the woman I was building a future with, she went along with it. After Lauren left, I just sat on the couch for hours until the sun came up. I didn't cry. I couldn't. Our wedding photos stared back at me from the shelf I built last summer. The ultrasound picture was still on the fridge. The half-painted nursery was still down the hall. The next morning, I called my buddy Otis. He's the most level-headed guy I know, told him everything. He came over with coffee and donuts, sat me down, and said something that changed everything. Stop reacting. Start documenting. So that's what I've been doing for the past 3 days. First, I went through all our finances. Turns out Leah's been siphoning money from our joint account to her personal one. $50 here, $100 there. Adds up to over $3,000. I found emails between her and a realtor about houses in Lakewood Hills. In one email, Leah wrote, "I need to make sure my daughter has the best possible start, unlike what my husband had." That one hit hard. I grew up in a trailer park. I worked my ass off to get where I am. Leah knew that. She knew how proud I was to buy our home. Then yesterday, I got a text from a number I didn't recognize. It was Ruben. Man to man. "You should know Leah's been unhappy for a long time. Don't make this harder than it needs to be." I didn't respond. I just saved it, added it to the evidence. Then this morning, the weirdest thing happened. Our elderly neighbor, Mrs. Chen, knocked on my door. She handed me a casserole dish and said, "For you. Adelaide told everyone at Bridge Club your wife left because you were abusive. I don't believe it. My late husband had the same eyes as you. Kind. Eyes. Abusive. They're telling people I'm abusive." That was the moment something inside me snapped. The sadness turned into something else, harder, sharper. I called Lauren immediately. She confirmed it. Adelaide has been telling everyone that Leah left because she was afraid of me, that she's worried about the baby. Lauren's been trying to shut the rumors down, but Adelaide has more pull in their social circle. I found out my wife and her mom were plotting to take my baby. Now it's my turn after everything Lauren told me. I couldn't sleep. I went into the spare room, cleared off the desk, and fired up my old laptop. Created a new email, opened a blank document titled Everything. For the next 6 hours, I gathered everything. Screenshots, bank statements, emails, texts. Anything that proved what they'd been doing behind my back. Then I found something unexpected. While digging through old emails, I came across some forwarded messages to Leah. They were about Adelaide's church, specifically the annual charity fundraiser she's been running for the past decade. It's a big deal in their community. The emails showed accounting discrepancies. Big ones. Turns out Adelaide has been skimming donation money for years. I also found something else. Adelaide has been pressuring Leah's dad, John, to remortgage their paid-off house to fund Ruben's latest business venture. John resisted. The only backbone that man has ever shown. So what did Adelaide do? She threatened to tell people that he had an affair 10 years ago. An affair Lauren swears never even happened. Who does this? Blackmails her own husband. Tries to steal her daughter's baby. And then it hit me. Adelaide doesn't just want to control Leah. She wants my baby. Our daughter. The perfect accessory. A fresh start. A do-over family with precious Ruben as the father figure. Something to show off at church and bridge club. Over my dead body. Around midnight, Lauren called again. Adelaide's planning some huge charity gala at their church next month. Fancy dinner, awards, the works. She's going to be recognized for her years of service. Everyone who's anyone in their community will be there. Even the local news might cover it. That's when I knew exactly what I had to do. This morning, I opened a new bank account at a different bank, transferred my share of the savings, called to freeze our joint credit cards, changed all my passwords, backed everything up to the cloud and an external hard drive. Then, for the first time in almost a week, I talked to Leah. She was crying. Said she wants to come home, that her mom went too far, that she was confused. I told her she could come by tomorrow to get more clothes, but only if Lauren comes with her. Then she asked if we could work things out, if I'd consider counseling. I didn't say anything for so long. She probably thought I'd hung up. Finally, I asked, "Is the baby mine?" There was a pause. Then she started sobbing. "Of course the baby is yours. How could you even ask me that?" But the hesitation before she answered told me everything I needed to know. I told her I'd be requesting a paternity test. Dead silence. Then she exploded. How dare I? After everything she put me through, I'm the one being unreasonable. The audacity is unbelievable. We're getting that test, whether she likes it or not. But here's the thing. Even if the baby is mine, and God, I hope she is, I'm done with Leah. A switch flipped. I feel nothing for her now but disappointment and disgust. But Adelaide? What I feel for her is something much darker. She tried to destroy my life, separate me from my child, ruin my name. For what? Because I'm not from the right background? Because our house isn't fancy enough? No, more. The revenge I'm planning, it's not about getting even. It's about making sure Adelaide can never do this to anyone else again. And it all starts at that charity gala. I've already spoken to Lauren about what I need from her. She's in. Otis is helping me compile everything. Things are moving fast now. Adelaide wants to play games? Fine. But she has no idea who she's playing with. And Leah. She made her choice. Now she gets to live with the consequences. I'll update again after tomorrow's meeting at the paternity testing clinic. And maybe, after I talk to a few people from Adelaide's church about those financial discrepancies. Final update coming soon. It's been 6 months since all of this started. A lot has happened. And yes, my daughter Olivia was born 8 weeks ago. My wife, her mom, and the plan to erase me. They had no idea who they were messing with. She's perfect. 10 fingers, 10 toes. And thankfully, the DNA test confirmed what I already knew in my heart. She's mine. But I'm getting ahead of myself. The morning after my last post, I woke up to a weird Facebook notification. Someone had tagged me in a post I couldn't see. Turns out Adelaide had blocked me, but was still posting about me, calling me unstable, saying she feared for her daughter's and grandbaby's safety. It had dozens of sympathetic comments from her church friends. The character assassination had officially begun. That same day, Layla came by with Lauren to grab more clothes. The moment she walked in, I noticed something off. She was wearing a necklace I'd never seen before. A small diamond pendant, definitely not in our budget. Later, Lauren confirmed what I already suspected. Reuben gave it to her the day before. Cool, cool, cool. While Layla moved around the house, gathering her things without looking me in the eye, Lauren slipped me a USB drive. On it? Recordings. Conversations between Adelaide, Reuben, and Layla, captured over the last 3 weeks. Lauren had been using the voice memos app on her phone whenever they were together. She'd leave it recording in her purse. That night, after they left, I sat down to listen. My hands shook so badly I spilled coffee all over my keyboard. Adelaide's voice. "Once the baby comes, we'll file for emergency custody. I have a friend at CPS who can help expedite things. Jensen won't know what hit him." Reuben laughing. "The loser probably can't even afford a decent lawyer." But the worst was hearing Layla's voice. "I just need to stick it out for a few more weeks. Mom's right. Once the baby is here, it'll be easier to make the break. I just hope he doesn't contest anything." I sat there in the dark, listening to the woman I married, the mother of my child, plotting to erase me from my daughter's life. Something cold and hard settled in my chest, and it never left. The next morning, I drove to the lab. Layla had finally agreed to the paternity test. While I was in the waiting room, an older guy noticed my Metallica shirt and struck up a conversation. Turns out his son saw them live last year. We talked. He mentioned he was on the board at First Community Church, Adelaide's church. The one hosting the upcoming charity gala. Coincidence? Maybe. Opportunity? Definitely. He went on and on about how Adelaide had single-handedly saved the building fund, how the church planned to name a new wing after her, how she'd been handling the money for years because no one else wanted the responsibility. I nodded, smiled, and mentally filed away everything. Over the next few weeks, things moved fast. The paternity test came back positive. Layla moved in permanently, with her parents. I spoke to 3 different lawyers. Lauren kept feeding me information. Otis helped me organize it all. And what I uncovered, Adelaide had been systematically stealing from the church charity fund for over 5 years. It started small, but as she got bolder, so did the amounts. She funneled money into Reuben's failed business ventures, designer clothes, and, ironically, the down payment on a house in Lakewood Hills for Layla and the baby. Meanwhile, she was telling everyone I was abusive, unstable, and possibly not. Even the father. The rumors spread like wildfire. I lost friends, got dirty looks at the grocery store. Someone even keyed my car, the word abuser scratched across the side. Through it all, I said nothing. I just kept building my case. Connecting the dots, waiting. Then came the night of the gala. Lauren texted me. She's wearing a new dress. Bought it with church money. Joan looks miserable. Reuben's here. So is Layla. The church was packed. Adelaide's social circle. The mayor, local business owners, other church leaders. I waited until dinner was served, until everyone was comfortably seated. Then I walked in. The look on Adelaide's face, worth every second of the last few months. Her perfect makeup couldn't hide how quickly the blood drained from her face. She tried to steal my daughter, now. She's lost everything. I walked straight to the pastor, handed him a sealed envelope, and simply said, "You should see this before you name anything after her." Inside were bank statements showing Adelaide's systematic theft from the church fund records of personal purchases made with charity money, screenshots of her threatening Joan with the fake affair, full audio recordings of her planning to take my child. I didn't stick around for the fallout. Didn't need to. As I walked to my car, I could already hear raised voices from inside. Adelaide's was the loudest, high-pitched, panicked. The next morning, the texts started. From Layla, "What did you do?" From Lauren, "Holy suck, it's happening." From numbers I didn't recognize. Church members asking for more details. By that afternoon, Adelaide's Facebook page was gone. The church had called an emergency board meeting. Layla wasn't answering anyone's calls, not even Reuben's. 2 days later, Lauren called me in tears. The church had found even more discrepancies than I had uncovered. Over $70,000 was missing. Adelaide was being forced to repay every cent. She'd been removed from every committee. The police were considering charges. But honestly, the social fallout was even worse. Friends of 30 years wouldn't speak to her. Her bridge club kicked her out. The country club rejected her membership application. Joan, her husband, finally grew a spine and moved out. He's now staying with his brother. As for Reuben, the second things got rough, he ghosted. Blocked Layla and Adelaide on everything. Turned out he'd been lying about his finances, too. His business was failing, and he'd been counting on Adelaide's investment to save it. A week later, Layla showed up at my door. 8 months pregnant. Mascara streaked down her face. She begged to come home. Said she'd made a terrible mistake. That she should have never listened to her mother. That she still loved me. That she wanted our family back. I looked at this woman, this stranger wearing my wife's face, and felt nothing. No anger. No love. Just emptiness. I told her she could stay, for the baby's sake. But our marriage was over. She could use the guest room until after the birth. After that, we'd figure out co-parenting. The next 6 weeks were awkward as hell. We lived like polite roommates. I installed a lock on my bedroom door, set up cameras around the house with her full knowledge. Layla spent most days crying or staring blankly at the TV. I focused on finishing the nursery. Then, Olivia came 3 weeks early. I was there for the birth, cut the cord, and the moment they placed her in my arms, that cold knot in my chest finally loosened. I cried for the first time in months. The paternity test confirmed what I already knew the second I saw her. She has my eyes, my nose. She's mine. Layla moved into a small apartment nearby. We exchange Olivia every 3 days. It's not ideal, but it works. The divorce will be finalized next month. As for Adelaide, she and Joan are officially separated. She had to sell her house to repay the church and cover legal fees. She's now renting a 1-bedroom apartment across town. Her social standing? Destroyed. Her friends? Gone. The charity named the new building after someone else. She's texted me 27 times. Left tearful voicemails saying she just wants to meet her granddaughter. That she's learned her lesson. That she's a changed woman. The irony isn't lost on me. The woman who tried to erase me from my daughter's life is now begging for scraps of attention. Last week, I ran into Mrs. Chen while walking Olivia in her stroller. She smiled and said, "Your baby has your eyes. Kind eyes." Then she handed me another casserole dish and added, "Adelaide came by asking about you two. I told her to leave good people alone." I haven't decided if Adelaide will ever be allowed to see Olivia. That's a bridge I'll cross when my daughter is old enough to understand. For now, I'm focused on one thing: being the best dad I can be. Our house isn't fancy. The kitchen still needs updating. The backyard is mostly dirt, though I've started putting in a small garden. But it's ours, mine and Olivia's. No one can take that away. And every night when I rock my daughter to sleep in the nursery, I painted myself. I know without a doubt what a real home looks like. Edit. Thanks for all the support through this nightmare. For those asking about Lauren, she's become a good friend, an amazing aunt to Olivia. She hasn't spoken to her mother in months. Edit 2. No, I'm not interested in dating. Got my hands full with an infant and a divorce. Maybe someday, but not now.